Hey everyone! So today I'm going to do a book review for you. I've decided to start doing book reviews on my channel because wherever I go, I like to have a book to read. I like to read it on the beach, or in the car, on the plane, or over breaks and stuff when I have nothing to do. So I'm going to start doing book reviews for you. And my first book that I'm going to do a book review for is this, The Vampire Academy. And overall, this book was pretty good. It's not something that I really got into that much. It wasn't like a nail biter or like I was like reading and I finished it in one night type deal. It took me 5 days to finish it, and it's a pretty short book too. It's only like 330 pages, I think. And so it's pretty good, but it wasn't my favorite book by far. It was one of those to where the author put things in it at certain points to where it started to get boring, and then she made something happen to keep your excitement, keep your attention. So it wasn't like a nail biter. It wasn't like action throughout the whole entire novel type thing. But it was a pretty good book overall, and I am going to read the second one just because it's good enough to where I want to read the second one. And this book got, someone told me I should read it. So this book, someone told me I should read it, and that's the main reason why I read it. I wouldn't have just picked it out at the store and be like, oh, I want to read this. This sounds really good. No, someone suggested it to me. So anyway, let's get to the plot. Okay, so basically this book, The Vampire Academy, is about these two girls, Lissa and Rose. And they go to the Vampire Academy, and it is out in the middle of Montana where no human could ever go there just by chance or anything like that. No one could ever find them because they try to keep their society away from human society. And in this vampire society, there are 3 types of vampires. The first one is called the Dhampirs, and these are Romanian words, so I'm sorry if I butcher the pronunciation. But the first kind is Dhampirs, and they are a mix of human and vampire. And they have no special powers. They're mostly human, truly they are pretty much human, except for they're a little bit faster, I guess, and they have more fast reflexes, I don't know. But and they don't have fangs, they can eat human food, they can go in sunlight, and so they're basically a human, except for they might be a little bit faster and stuff. And then there are the how do you pronounce it? Moroi. I'm so bad at pronouncing O's and R's, so the Moroi. And they are pure blood vampires, and they have fangs, they can't go out in sunlight, they drink blood, but only enough blood for them to, keep going, have energy and stuff. It's not like drinking to kill or anything like that. And there are the royals and then the non-royals, and the royals are the ones that run society and stuff, and that run the vampire society. And like I said before, they have fangs and stuff, but they also specialize in a power. And around our senior in high school, so around that age, 17, 18, that kind of age, they specialize in a power or an element. And the 4 elements are earth, water, wind, and fire. And once you specialize in it, you have those powers. But in this society, it is illegal for the Moroi to use those powers against other people or even use them all together. So basically, they have a power for no reason. In this book, at least. I don't know how it's going to be for the next book. And then the third type of vampire are the Stirgoi. It's so hard to pronounce these. The Stirgoi. And they are the bad vampires, and they drink to kill, and they have fangs, obviously, but because they're bad, they don't have any magical powers. Their powers sort of fade away, and they don't work anymore. And they have no sense of control. They have no sense of who is who or anything like that. They just are out there to kill, and especially they're out there to kill Moroi blood. They want Moroi blood. And so the Dhampirs try to protect the Moroi. And that's the Dhampir's job. So, Rose is a Dhampir and Lisa is a royal Moroi. And they go to school together, and they have this sort of bond to where Rose can get inside Lissa's head and feel her feelings and see what she is seeing through her eyes. And they don't really know how this bond came about, but you find out later in the book. And so that's just sort of like an overview. And then at the beginning of the book, Lissa and Rose have run away from the academy. have run away from the academy. And but you don't really know why. And then the guardians, like from the school, they're guardians, and they come and get them and bring them back to the academy because they're in trouble. But and so once they get back to the school, everyone is sort of like looking at them weird and gossipy. Like, this school is drama oriented. It's the most dramatized school I've ever even heard of in real life and in a book. So this school is just all about drama and stuff, and that has a big role in this book. But and so when they get there, before they left, they've been gone for 2 years. They've run away for 2 years. And before they left, they had like a huge reputation. They were popular. Everyone liked them. Everyone listened to them. They went to parties and everyone looked up to them. And now everyone's like questioning, like powers have shifted while they're gone and stuff. And so they're the new gossip, of course. And Rose, since Rose is going to be Lissa's guardian, the person who protects her and stuff later in life. Rose is on probation because she's the one that broke them out of the academy, and in order to graduate from high school, she has to take private lessons from this Russian guardian named Dmitri. And apparently he is really hot and he is attractive, and he's just like, I mean, he's older than her, so that's kind of a problem, but she is just so into him and that kind of thing. And he sounds like a really sweet guy, he's like mysterious and that kind of thing. So that is Dmitri. And throughout the book, they sort of get closer, and you find out that Dmitri sort of has feelings for her too. So that's just like throughout the book. Now, at the beginning of the book, near the beginning of the book, Lissa is rooming with her cousin Natalie, and Lissa finds this fox, this dead fox with its throat slit on her bed, and she freaks out. I mean, who wouldn't? But and it had a note saying with it, "I know what you are." And so that's all I'm going to say for those who want to keep reading this book and who want to read this book. But I'm going to get into spoilers now, so if you want to read this book and you don't want me to spoil it for you, don't watch the rest of this video. Stop it and go get that book and read it. But those of you who have already read this book and you want to see my insight on it and stuff, or you want to just hear more about it if you haven't read it, then keep listening. So, as I said, Lissa found this dead fox in her bed, and with this, her and Rose kind of flashback. There was like a flashback in the book, and it showed you of her healing animals. Lissa and Rose had been walking out in the woods one night. This is the flashback, and they get caught by this crazy teacher called Miss Carp, and she's a teacher to where she just like sort of talks to herself. She's really weird, and she's always afraid that someone is following her. She does not sleep hardly at all. Like, she's just going all over the place. She doesn't she's crazy. Like, that's what it seems like. And Miss Carp catches them in the woods, and she's walking them back to the school, and there's this raven that's struggling, and it finally dies. Well, Lissa goes over and sort of touches it, and it comes back to life and flies away. And Miss Carp freaks out. She goes, "Don't do that again. Don't tell anyone." And she goes up to Rose and goes, "Rose, you have to save her. You have to protect her from herself. Do not let her, don't tell anyone. Don't let her do this ever again. You have to save her." And she sort of just goes crazy. So after they find the dead fox and they think about this, like the flashback and stuff, Lissa sort of goes away and she's like very upset, and she goes to an old hiding place where she used to go when she was upset about things. And it is in the chapel. It's like the attic of the chapel and stuff. And she goes there, but there's someone already up there, and it's Christian. And he isn't also a royal, but he's sort of disgraced because his parents turned Strigoi. Strigoi. And that's very disgraceful. Like, his parents turned that on their own, and so he's sort of an outcast. Lissa and Christian sort of understand each other in a way because they've both lost their parents. And Lissa lost hers in a car wreck, and you'll find out more about that throughout the novel too. And it just hints to other things that come about. But they get closer and they kind of like each other, but Lissa is high up in society and she doesn't want her reputation ruined, but she really, really likes Christian. And so they don't get together because Lissa does not want to destroy her reputation, because it'd be unacceptable to date Christian in this society. So one day, Rose decides to get together with this boy at night, and she's on probation already, and it's after hours when everyone is supposed to be in their dorms and stuff, but she gets together with this boy named Jesse, and he wants to have sex and stuff, and he also wants to drink her blood. And that, like, having sex and drinking blood at the same time is like the most disgraceful thing anyone could ever do in that society. And they actually call those people blood whores who do that, who have sex and have a vampire drink their blood at the same time. And so, of course, Rose said no. And but rumor got out, and this girl named Mia, who is sort of like the arch rival, like enemy type people of Lissa and Rose, she started spreading a rumor that actually happened. And so Lissa got mad about that, and Lissa has this power to use compulsion over people and make them believe and say things and do things as she says it. And so she went around and did this, had everyone stop, like, believing those rumors and stuff. And her powers, though, weaken her, and she gets depressed, and she almost goes crazy, just like Miss Carp. She has the same symptoms. And Rose saw that, and she sort of looked into it. And it turns out that this saint that they worship at church and stuff, Saint Vladimir, has the same thing. He can heal animals, but he was crazy, and he could, like, they just had the same symptoms, and it was really weird. And Lissa, by this point, had not specialized in any element. Like, they didn't know if she was going to specialize or anything, and Miss Carp had never specialized in anything either. And neither did Saint Vladimir. So it was all kind of similar in that she didn't really know what to think about that, but you find out later on. And then, so that's that. Rose looked into that, but she was sort of stuck at a dead end. Later, Victor, who is Natalie's father, so it's Lissa's uncle, offers to take them all shopping in town. That's a big deal because they're out in the middle of nowhere, and they usually have to order their clothes and stuff. But they get really excited, and Rose is allowed to go because she's been doing good in her classes and stuff, and she hasn't been causing any trouble. And so Lissa, Rose, Natalie, Victor, and Dimitri and all of them, and like some other guardians, go into the human mall and go shopping. Now Victor, I have to mention this, Victor has Sandowski's disease, and he's really weak and he's about to die. Like, you can just tell he's coughing all the time and stuff. He thought that Rose did a very good job with guarding Lissa for the day. So he got her this rose necklace that they had been looking at, but they didn't buy because it seemed so expensive. So he got her that necklace, and then the next day was the dance and stuff, and so they wore their new clothes and went to the dance, and Mia caused some trouble at the dance, and so Rose had it, and she punched in the face. She punched Mia. Rose punched Mia in the face and caused like a huge thing to go on, and Lissa, and so Rose got sent back to her dorm. She was in trouble, of course. And so, Lissa was off somewhere, and she got abducted. And this is a spoiler, another spoiler. But she got abducted, and you find out that it was Victor and some of his guardians that had abducted her. And so, Rose is sitting in her room, and she can feel, like, Lissa's panic. And so Rose runs and gets Dimitri. Well, she gets to her room, and then she has this little voice in her head, and she doesn't know why, but it just tells her to stay and have a good time with Dimitri. And so she just went at him, and he kind of went along with it. I don't know, and so they just start making out and on the bed and everything, and then Dimitri finally figures out, oh my gosh, it's this necklace that's making them do all this stuff. It was a lust compulsion type thing. And so he gets rid of the necklace, and I was really shocked at that. I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea what was going on. I was really confused. But, so Rose focused again and told Dimitri, we have to go get help and stuff. And so, they leave to get help, and while it's flip-flopping back and forth. So while they're getting help, Rose looks into Lissa's eyes and finds out Victor is talking to Lissa, and she's like, why have you kidnapped me and stuff? And Victor says, because I know what you are. Your element that you specialize in is spirit. And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. You're crazy. And Victor explains to her that Natalie has been helping him out and spying, and that they knew because Natalie had seen Lissa in the woods, how she cured the raven. And so she had been spying on them. And so Lissa had been helping out her dad to get all these dead animals to try to provoke Lissa to heal them and stuff, and they finally figured it out. And so Victor had kidnapped Lissa to heal him, to keep her as prisoner and heal him so he can rule after the queen dies. And Lissa had never heard of this element because it was sort of like a forgotten element. It's so rare that no one even thinks about it. People just think that they don't specialize. And so that's where I'm going to leave you. I'm not going to tell you anything else because the ending is really good. It's just awesome. And so that's all I'm going to say about this book, but I hope you read it. It's a good book. It's not my favorite, but it's a good book. So I recommend on you reading this and finding out what happens in the ending. Those of you that have already read it already know what happens in the ending. Those of you that haven't, you're just going to have to read and find out. So that is my book review for Vampire Academy, and I guess I will see you guys later. Bye!